Good morning. Uh, Today is going to be one of the diary videos. Now, yesterday I wrote this blog post, and what I was thinking was about audiences, how social media traditionally they offered this huge audience that you could tap into. And so all the creators went to the social media platforms with the biggest audience. Um, the latest sort of generation, which are your kind of Patreon, uh, Itch, and say Kickstarter, they work the other way around. They provide services for creators, but you're expected to bring your own audience. If no one knows about you, then the best Kickstarter in the world is not going to do anything because you can't get the word out. But this got me thinking about audiences, and I just want to remember this Pinterest button down there because that'll come up in a minute. Um, so I started looking at my audience. Now, this is the blog analytics, and these are the demographics of the users as provided by Google. Now, the predominant user here is 25 to 34, with a tailing off as you get older. So I'm in this group here, I'm 52, so I'm a little bit older than most of my blog readers. Um, if we look at a few other demographics here, now this one holds no surprises at all. Here it's saying that most of my blog readers are so movie lovers, gamers, no surprise there, light TV viewers, more games, role-playing game fans. That's a big surprise, isn't it? They read. Looking down here, the top one there is that you like role-playing games. Again, no surprise there. Miniatures and wargaming. This no surprises here at all. Over this side, um, employment, and there's a lot of business services here, including marketing and some of the creative sides. This again isn't a surprise because one of the sort of messages that I'm getting across is that anyone could start making money from writing RPG books, supplements, games. Um, so it's going to appeal to people that are maybe in the pandemic, they've your jobs just disappeared, you've been dropped, and this is an alternative or a possible alternative. So again, that's no real surprise. Moving along to the next one, the geographical. So you can see here that the UK, well, I'm a British gamer, so that's no surprise. America, biggest audience. Canada, so you've got nearly 660, and that was about 220 there. So near enough, 900. The fourth one is Germany, 41. Fifth one was Brazil. So 5 countries make up about 80% of the demographic. The lion's share is North America. Again, no real surprise. And this is the social media channels. So now I'm quite. This is over a 90-day period. So there's a lot of referrals to from Twitter, quite a few from Facebook, some from YouTube. No surprise, I'm making videos. I only went on Instagram about 30 days ago. I've probably got about 20 posts on it. So I've got a tiny little presence there and I'm getting a tiny trickle of traffic. Um, I never go near Reddit. I don't particularly like the platform, but I know that there's a strong solo playing community on there. So that is no surprise. But there is absolutely no referrals from Pinterest. So, despite the fact that I am giving up valuable uh, homepage space here, there's no backflow to the website from Pinterest, not in the last 90 days. Whereas, there's a back and forth flow between YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. So probably by next week that'll be gone, and that will be replaced by an Instagram logo, just because you may as well go with the flow. Now, the other interesting thing is here that I spend probably half an hour a day on Twitter. 3 or 4 times a day I go on there, just check and reply and post. I spend about half an hour a week on Facebook, if that, 15 minutes a week. I put out automated posts. This video will get automatically shared. All my uh, blog posts get automatically shared, but I do almost nothing. So to get, you know, what is that, about a quarter, 25% as much traffic from Facebook as I do Twitter, when that's taking up 3, 4 hours a week and that's taking up 30 minutes, means that I am missing a trick here. I should be putting more effort into Facebook, and I will. That is, again, the first actionable thing was to swap out the Pinterest for Instagram. The second actionable thing will be to put more time and effort into Facebook. So if I end up showing you these again, I imagine that these two will swap places eventually. I would also like YouTube and Instagram to move up, but we will see. Now, those are the Google Analytics for my blog. Um, this is the analytics for the YouTube channel. It's still 90 days, so it's comparable. Now, the most watched video was the solo play for Eldritch Tales. Look at that in the viewing time. It's 3 times the amount, 3 times the amount. Triple the watch duration, triple the hours. Okay, it's not the most viewed in the fact that this Ashen Stars actual play has come up in the YouTube searches more often, but the Eldritch Tales has got more reaction. When people click it, they watch more. They're more likely to watch it, and they watch more of it. So that's quite interesting. Now, the traffic sources. This isn't really so useful because it's not breaking it down. But the geography. Now, the geography is in that 90-day period. No one is the YouTube. The United Kingdom isn't generating the video watchers. They're all coming from Canada and the United States, which is a complete reversal for the blog readers, where it was kind of 5 to 1 or 6 to 1 in favour of United States over Canada. YouTube is the other way round. The gender age, you also see that whereas for reading the blog, it was the predominantly 25 to 34. Here it's exclusively the 35 to 40, 35 to 44. So that is one step closer to my own age group, which may have an influence there. Now, gender, exclusively male, according to the YouTube stats. Now, as an aside here, YouTube and Google are only recognizing the two genders. But one of my most popular kind of indie solo rule sets is for Visigoths versus Morgoths, which is very can't think of the right word. The whole kind of bisexuality, transgender. I think there might only be one heterosexual NPC in the core rulebook. At all. It is very much about kind of the youth exploring who they are, how they feel. All of that comes up, and that's a really, really popular game. One of my best-selling books recently was the Tales from the Loop solo rules, which again explores that kind of the gender issue side of it comes up in that game. You're talking about teenagers in the 1980s, and that's a period of kind of self-discovery. I am not surprised that there is. Oh no, well, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a greater predominance in sort of gender neutral and ambiguous sexuality, kind of all of that in amongst role players when they're in their teens, and that's when most of us discover the hobby. Any hobby that actually allows you to try being somebody else. If you're a male player and you want to try playing a female player, the hobby encourages that. So it doesn't surprise me if it is attractive to people that aren't 100% certain yet as to their sexual orientation or even their gender identity. So I think it's kind of a pity that YouTube and Google, same company behind it, isn't it? Same technology, haven't expanded this criteria, this demographic yet, and I expect them to. I'll be very surprised if they don't. But anyway, that's a complete aside. So what you've got, the YouTube audience is very different to the blog audience, and the YouTube, they're sort of more Canadians proportionally. They're older. There was a list on here which I can't find right now. Device type. On YouTube, almost 70% of people are watching on a desktop computer. On the blog, I won't bother going to find it now. It's mobile. You can read, I think, on your phone much easier than trying to watch a tiny little video. Mouse cinema, isn't it? So my audience here, and part of the point of this was the analytics tell me who is consuming my content. drive-through doesn't give you any real demographics at all. Itch plugs in to your Google Analytics, so those same analytics there, I can drill down to the Itch pages and see the same data for Itch. Um, it does mean that I can tailor my blog posts and my video content to the kind of people that I think are watching. Now, in marketing, we call those personas. You could create a kind of fictional person, and you can say, right, okay, the blog readers, they're 30 years old, American, male, who's into kind of fantasy TV, role-playing games, he likes the Lord of the Rings movies, all that sort of thing. And my YouTube audience, they're Canadian, they're sat at their computer, not on their phone. They're 30 years old. And so I can, actually, I got that the other way around. They're 40-year-old Canadians sat at their computers, and it's a 30-year-old American on their phone that's reading the blog. And I can then write to, I can picture I'm speaking to that person when I am writing the blog or when I am writing the when I'm recording the video or writing the blogs. We call them personas, and they are they're a really powerful marketing tool. If you know who your audience is, then you can address them. So if you want to sell more role-playing books, adventures, or whatever, try and find the demographics, you can even flip it on the other side. You can actually imagine the person you want to buy the book, and once you can imagine who they are, then write to appeal to that person. And it doesn't really matter who your persona is, because we can reach a global audience these days. And if you wanted to reach a very, very specific audience, um, you know 16 to 25-year-old goths that like Sister Mercy, then you could target that, and you could target that really, really easy. You find the lyrics from that band, their most favorite songs. You reference the band, the songs, and the band members, and the lyrics, and all of that, and even the album art. You reference it all in your adventures, and it will appeal to those people, and you will find that niche, and you will dominate that niche. But if you write one adventure like that, and then your next one references Johnny Cash songs and lyrics, and you find the cover art of his albums, and you try and emulate that style for the art, that isn't going to appeal to 20-year-old goths. That's going to appeal to a completely different demographic again. And if your next one references Twilight, and sparkly vampires, then that is a different audience. You have to work out who you want to speak to, and then write to the persona. And that is kind of the message for today. It's adopt personas. If you've got access to analytics, then use them, drill down into the demographic data you've got, because it's kind of easier to talk to an audience you already have, even if it's a small audience, and pick out the bits that appeal to you and to them. Where's the crossover? Because it will just come across as fake if you try and pretend to be someone you're not. Um, but yeah, find that crossover, capitalize on the existing audience. But when you're writing or recording or creating, have in mind who it is you are writing, recording, or creating for. And if you Google marketing personas, then you will find loads of information on it, probably more than you need. But that's the word to look out for is personas. Okay, and that's it for today.